Hey guys, it's me Catherine and welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I wanted to use this time to share with you guys my full experience on when I went to Vietnam over the summer between June 24th all the way to July 20th. Yes, I am just now editing this. These past few months have been very hectic for me, so I did not get a chance to edit this, but I am now here and I am fully ready to basically share with you guys, as someone who grew up in the States, what Vietnam was like. Last time I went to Vietnam was when I was 6, and when you're 6 you literally do not remember anything. I would say the only thing I remember was whenever I stuck my head in to this thing right here. Little me thought that if I stuck my head in there I can just pull it right back out easily because my head was small. That was not it. I ended up having to ask for help. So many of my family members went to help to pull my head out. And if you guys are wondering, yes, my family did actually mention about that when I went on my trip. That was even more embarrassing because I thought only I and my mom would remember that. No, literally almost everyone in my family remembered that. Starting off on when I was packing, so me and my mom, we planned to give a lot of just candy in general. So we got like Snickers there, we got Milky Ways, we got Twix, because they don't have those in Vietnam. And not only were we packing that, but we were also packing like other stuff that my family members were giving me from like California, Pennsylvania. It was very stressful because we packed this the day of. We planned our outfits like 2 weeks before already, so we're not really stressed about that. We were more stressed on getting onto like the weight limit for the luggage because I believe each luggage was like 50 pounds each. But some way, somehow, we were still able to finish it right before our Uber came, which honestly surprised me because I thought I had to order another Uber, but I didn't. We got to the airport, we got off, and then we had to stand in this like line for around 15 to 20 minutes. I thought it was gonna be longer, but no. We got to the airport around like 9 p.m. Our flight was at like 1 in the morning, but we went early because it's been a while since we went to an international airport, so we didn't know like how much stuff they might be wanting to ask us, so we went really early just in case. And honestly, it was a lot more quicker than I thought because literally we got into our gate within an hour. So I had like 2 hours left over and I was in the middle of my summer class that I had to take. So I was just writing my essay while my mom was literally just taking a nap. So after 2 hours has passed, it was time for us to board our plane. And when I went on that plane, I was honestly really surprised because the planes that I usually go to, there's no movie screens. But when I went on that plane and I saw movie screens, I knew instantly that I was going to enjoy my time in this plane. I would say my experience going on an international airplane was actually really cool because since I'm traveling from Houston all the way to Taipei and Taipei to Vietnam, it's a round trip, they gave us like blankets, a pillow, they gave us earbuds, and of course we got food as well, which I will give like a full review towards like the end of this video. I ended up watching 2 movies. I watched Aladdin, the live action. That was really good, by the way. Loved that movie. That was probably one of my favorite movies now. And I also watched Lord of the Rings. I don't remember which Lord of the Rings that I watched, but anyways, when we got off that airplane, I went to the airport and dude, the Taipei airport is so huge. Like I've never seen a bakery in an airport because usually in the States it would just be mainly like junk food, I guess, but like literally there, like you have like a bakery, you have like different like boba places. We still had 3 hours left until our flight to go to Vietnam, so me and my mom used that time to just kind of explore around. We also of course went to the bakery to find something to eat for breakfast because we low-key were hungry. So after like 3 hours later, it was time for us to board our plane again. And honestly, this was probably one of the worst seats that we got when we got there. A lot of my friends were just telling me like, that's such a good seat because you have so much leg space, because we're sitting like near like the exit door. But it was not like a best space for us, honestly, because we felt a little bit like overwhelmed with the amount of space that we got. And then also there was no TV screen, so I was literally like sad until the flight attendant literally brought us food and literally just pulled out the screen, like literally in the middle of the flight. And I'm like, bruh, so there was a screen the whole time and I just didn't know? Like, what? So basically throughout that week, I just went to like hair salons. My cousin took me to one of the most famous malls in Saigon, which is called Aeon Mall. It was really huge. I've never seen a mall that was like 4 stories. I went to that mall twice. One of them is just with my older cousin and he was just kind of showing me around. And then the second time is whenever I actually hung out in the mall. I tried a lot of things, honestly. Like I literally tried tanghulu for the first time. I also tried curry udon. That was interesting. I also tried this one coffee place called Phúc Long, and I'm not gonna lie with you, it was very sweet. They make their drinks pretty sweet, but it's also my fault as well because I said to put like regular sweetness. Yeah, that was also on me on that, but it was pretty alright. I also went to the photo booth with my 2 cousins and we took really cute photos, as you guys can see here. It was a very memorable moment because like I've never been to a photo booth before and honestly I always wanted to go, and that was just so much fun and it was so cute. As we just continued to like walk around and stuff, I also saw this little like place where a lot of cats just tend to just kind of play around, and that was actually my first time to see a hairless cat. Like I always wanted to see one, and for some reason when I was there I was able to see one, so very, very cute. I went to the market to get some PJs. We didn't bring any with us, so we went to go buy it. I also played cards with my cousins. It was kind of like a counting game, and like if you have the lowest, you have to kneel. And I felt bad for one of my cousins, I'm not gonna lie, because she had to kneel a lot. I'm really slow when it comes to like adding things, so knowing like my cousins were just like knowing how to count like so quickly, I was just like, oh. And guys, I even got skull pandas from my cousin because he has connections with someone who sells Pop Mart kind of stuff, and I literally just got 2 of them for free. I literally just told him like I love collecting, you know, like blind boxes, and he was just like, oh, let me just give you 2 of them. And I'm like, oh. I would honestly say what shocked me the most is finding out that I got accepted to UT. Like UT Austin. Literally, I got a notification from UT saying like, oh, your decision has been made. So I went to go check during the middle of my summer class and I found out that I got in. Here's a clip of my reaction to it and also my mom's.
Ooh. Oh. Wow. Uh-huh.
If you guys are wondering if I ever felt jet lagged because the time difference is just like really insane, yes, I did. I fell asleep so many times when it's just 8 p.m. And my cousin, who was in the room with me, noticed that I was falling asleep, so he decided to take a photo of me. I looked so chopped. That is basically the first week of me being in Vietnam. So the second week, what do we have planned? So our original plan was that we're gonna travel to the countryside for 3 to 4 days. And then after we come back from the countryside and throughout my whole month trip in Vietnam, I'm just gonna be staying in the city of Saigon. Unfortunately, that did not go as planned. My mom encountered some beauty problems, so we had to go back to the countryside, meaning that even though I thought like we're gonna be staying in the city, I ended up having to stay in the countryside a lot more. My first experience in the countryside, what is it like? So let's start off from us traveling there. So we ordered like huge van because so many of my family members were going, and honestly it was so fun because even though the ride was so long, because from Saigon all the way to Yin Chao it's like 6 hours, so it was really tiring, but it was really fun at the same time because I've never rode like in a road trip with like a full family before. So after 6 full hours, we finally made it to the countryside. And of course, the first thing that we did was we greet everyone around us. And then we started to hand out snacks that we got from America to my cousins. Now, remember I mentioned earlier that we got chocolate? Well, we forgot that it was sitting in this box, and this box was sitting under the sun basically. So it didn't melt, you know, but it got really mushy. It was still edible. My cousin still liked it. So I was just like, I mean, I guess that's a win. So then we headed to my other cousin's house, which they live in this like rural area. If I had to describe what it is, because I'm not really sure what it's called in English, it's basically kind of like a farm, but just don't think about like there's like a huge patch of like grass with like cows and like horses and stuff. It's more of just like patches of water, and in those like waters there's like shrimps and stuff, and there was like a lot of them. So it was really interesting, and I did step in mud. We were literally near the sidewalk, and then I ended up slipping and stepping in mud. Luckily in that sidewalk there was like a hose, so my mom helped me kind of like rinse off the mud. Top 10 most embarrassing moments in my life. I also went to the beach with my cousins, which was honestly really pretty. What I thought was really interesting is that here in the States, right, when you go to a beach, you would honestly see a lot of seagulls. But in Vietnam, you see a lot of dragonflies. So it was pretty interesting. And also my cousin took me and his little nephews to go out, you know, for a night motorcycle ride, and we ate together and we kind of just explored like the night together and stuff. And then next thing I knew, it was time to go back to the city. So when I was in the city, we were actually only there for like 1 to 2 days before we had to go back to the countryside. So during those 1 to 2 days, you know, we just kind of chilled, and we also went to Landmark 81 in Saigon. Honestly, it was so pretty. Me and my mom, we took so much photos. We didn't go whenever it was night, but we went whenever it was like kind of dark enough for us to kind of like see what was going on and stuff. Honestly, it was really nice, you know. But then unfortunately we had to go back to the countryside, so I couldn't see any more sightseeing places, but it's okay. So once again, we arrived at the countryside. During this time, since I knew I was gonna stay there for basically my whole entire trip, I had a mindset of I'm not allowed to let every day go to waste. Like, I have to go out, you know. Like, when I'm here in the States, I can just rot in bed and do whatever I want, but I'm literally in Vietnam. I have to do something. While my mom's getting her beauty problems fixed, we went to this place called Cam Hien, which I guess is like a museum or something. There was a whole bunch of stuff there, honestly. Creatures that look so creepy. I don't know who painted that. It was so creepy. And there was also a water park there, which was pretty cool, honestly. There was actually people swimming there. Looked pretty clean. And then there was also like a little mini zoo.
Wait a damn minute.
There was this one monkey who went like on these like the cage and was just like doing this. It looked mad. We went to go get some drinks together before we headed back to where we were staying because my mom was done for the day. And for the next few days, that's basically what we did. We just kind of like traveled around and stuff. And for one of those days when I did go to Bacleo, one of my other cousins actually took me to see a movie. We saw the movie Jurassic Park, The Rebirth. It was okay. Like, if I had to give my rating on it, I would give it like a 7 out of 10. Me and my cousins, we also went to this like supermarket called Go. Love that place. I'm not gonna lie with you. It's so huge. They have souvenirs. They also have like a mini arcade place, a mini like playground for like kids. When you go upstairs, you know, it's like a whole supermarket, like literally a Asian market, but it's just upstairs. Like, literally, it's so huge, bro. As fun as that might sound, honestly, there was a moment where I actually did feel really sad because I just felt really bored, and I just had like a deep thought, like, this trip felt like it was not worth it. It was worth it for my mom because she was getting her beauty things done, but for me, like, I felt like I was just so bored. Like, I could just better off just be at home, you know? And my family noticed that I was feeling a little bit down about that. So they were like, hey, let's take a few days off, like 1 to 2 days actually, to just explore Can Tho, which is basically a city which is similar to Saigon. We arrived at Can Tho like around in the afternoon, and we kind of chilled, got some lunch, and then towards whenever it hit nighttime, we decided to take a stroll around, and it was honestly really pretty. There was a lot of foreigners there too, and I kid you not, throughout that whole night, one of my little cousins would not let my hand go at all. Like literally, he would just hold my hand like no matter what. He would just not be apart from me. He was just trying to be a little gentleman, you know. When we were on the car, he was like, I'm gonna let her to go first and then I'll go later. I don't know how I got him to be so attached with me. But yeah, we just strolled around the area and then we headed back to our hotel to sleep because we decided to wake up at 4 in the morning just so we can head onto like this boat ride, because we wanted to do that boat ride at night, but they didn't have any more, so we decided to go in the morning to see the sunrise and stuff. So yeah, overall with that whole boat ride, it was pretty nice. It felt really like refreshing, like the breeze was just amazing and stuff. I would say though, I did get a lot of mosquito bites. So we went to this little store. I already got like 1 to 2 bites. We headed to this like one little forest, and it was so aesthetic there because there was like a canoe and everything, but like I got bit so much. Literally my mom had to fan my leg so that the mosquitoes don't bite me anymore. It ruined my morning, all right. It's whatever, it cooled down. We sung some karaoke, and of course, you know, as a karaoke fan, I of course had to step in and sing. That was basically the sum of my whole trip when I was in Can Tho. So around 2 to 3 days later, me and my mom, we traveled up to Bac Lieu to go stay with a family friend for around like, I'm guessing 3 days, because my mom's beauty problems were almost done. So we wanted just to stay there for a couple days so we didn't have to like travel back and forth so many times. We decided to just stay there for like a couple of days before we head back to the countryside and before we head back to the city, because during this time it was really cutting close to when we had to go back to the States. So during our stay there, of course, my mom went to go get her beauty stuff done. We went to Korean barbecue, we went to like different temples, we got our nails done, we also went to the hair salon to get our hair washed. And so finally, my mom's beauty problems were finally fixed. So we just spent the last few days basically just staying with my family in the countryside before we headed back to the city. So one of my cousins knew that my birthday was coming up, so he suggested that we should all basically celebrate my birthday with my little cousins. So we got pizza, we got chicken, we got fries, we got like Pepsi and all stuff like that, you know, Americanized foods. But I'm not gonna lie with you, it was a little something. The soda that we got, it was not really that sweet. The chicken was very soggy, it wasn't really like seasoned that well. The fries were really soggy. The pizza was not really that good because they put jabam, which is basically like these pork flakes, on the pizza for the topping, and it didn't really like match well with my tasting. A lot of my other cousins just ate it all up, but personally for me, as someone who grew up in the States and know these kind of foods, it was something not really my taste, but it's okay, you know. And then we ended up eating the cake afterwards after saying, you know, happy birthday. And of course, my cousin made me wear a birthday hat. And it had to be Cinderella. Bruh. Am I a kid? The day after that, which I believe was basically my last day of me being in the countryside before I had to go to the States. I played badminton with my other cousins. It was honestly really fun because, you know, I personally love badminton. Then it was time for me to go back in the city. I said bye for real this time. It was a really emotional moment because I could tell they deeply loved me and also my mom, so saying bye to them really was hard. And so we reached Saigon once again. This time I actually only had one more day to fully experience Vietnam and Saigon in general. What did I do, you may ask? So basically during that full day I was just out. So in the morning, me and my mom woke up pretty early, and me and my cousin and my mom, we all went to this like shopping center to just get some more clothes because I literally wanted more clothes. So we did a lot of shopping. I low-key felt really bad because my cousin was literally just like carrying it all for us, and I did a lot of shopping. And towards night, me, my mom, my cousin, and also my aunt, we headed to basically Saigon in general, and we just kind of like walked around. So the first thing that we did is to grab dinner, which we went to this dim sum place, and honestly it was so fancy. Did not expect it to be that fancy. After that, we were originally gonna go on a boat to like just kind of like drive around whatever, but unfortunately all the boats were filled, so we ended up going to this little like bus instead, which would take you around Saigon in general. And honestly it was so pretty. Here are a few videos of basically the whole thing because it was such a good experience. But of course all good days come to an end because before I knew it, it was time for me to go back to the States. It was really hard to say goodbye to my family, but it was such a good and memorable moment because who knows if I will be seeing them again. It was really memorable, and I'm really glad that we were able to have this trip. That basically summarizes my whole trip in Vietnam. Honestly, it was such a memorable moment for me because not only were I able to just see my family members who I have either not met yet or those I haven't seen for a long time, I was also able to meet with those who my mom specifically grew up with, and overall it just gave me a valuable lesson in life. As someone who lived in the States and also lived in the city most of the time, I always knew that the rural life was not that easy, but me being able to actually just live there, even if it's just for a few weeks, it allowed me to understand like how actually difficult it is. It's put a set reality to me. And with that being said, let's go rate some plain foods. Just to let you guys know, this is just merely my opinion, so it might not agree with some of you guys, but this is just merely my opinion and what I thought about it. So starting off, we have this dish. I would say for the main dish part, the chicken was really good. The mashed potatoes were not really my liking. The texture was really off for me. I feel like that chicken would taste better if it's like there's like rice in it, because this dish overall just felt like it was just like a snack. So it was a little disappointing about that. The food on the top left, not really sure what that is, but it was not bad, but not really something that I would personally eat. The fruit, pretty good, really refreshing. Carrot cake was actually one of my favorite dishes. It was actually so good. I don't really like carrot cake, but something about that just made me change my idea about it. And I think that was like the highlight of my dish overall. Therefore, I give that dish overall a 5 out of 10 only because of the carrot cake. Next up, we have a tuna sandwich. I thought I took a photo of this. Apparently I didn't. Honestly, the tuna sandwich was not that bad, but the tuna was low-key really cold, so that kind of threw me off a little bit. Therefore, I'm giving this like overall dish like a 6 out of 10. Next item is actually our breakfast item, which is porridge with pork flakes. Honestly, this was such a good combination, so I literally ate this all up, and it was honestly really good to start off for breakfast. I got apple juice with it as well. Fruits were of course very refreshing. I don't know what that is on the top left. Did not really eat that. Overall, with this whole dish, 8 out of 10. Next up, spaghetti with, I think it's Alfredo sauce. This was actually the first ever meal that I enjoyed every single thing. Though I didn't get to finish it, I'll still rate it an 8 out of 10. Next up, chicken and rice. Honestly, this was my favorite meal out of all the plain foods that I literally tried because this combination was so good, and I think it was also because I was hungry. Again, I don't know what's going on with the top left. Did not eat that. Fruits again, very refreshing. Therefore, I give this a 9 out of 10. Next up, we got spaghetti with tomato sauce. This spaghetti was very well made. The fruits were very refreshing once again. The ham, egg, and cheese that were mixed, honestly, they made it so good. They even gave us a sponge cake, which perfectly topped it all off. So this is the dish where I'm gonna have to call it a 10 out of 10. Next up, another sandwich. I honestly don't know what the sandwich was. I guess if you're like really hungry, you can eat it. I did try it. I did eat half of it, but then I kind of just stopped eating and it was just not really to my liking. I'm giving this a 4 out of 10. And the last item I got on the plane was porridge again. Honestly, compared to the other porridge, I really did not like this. The ingredients that they put on the porridge made it so bland. Literally so bland. Could not consume it anymore, so I barely ate anything. Honestly, throughout this whole dish, the only thing that I really liked was my apple juice that I got and the fruits. So I have to give this a 3 out of 10. My mom also mentioned to me that back in 2012 when we went to Vietnam, they gave very unflavorful, cold, and really bland foods. Now they give more flavorful and warm foods, so she said that it changed so much. I don't know why, but the first half of the food that I tried, my stomach hurt really bad. But then, like, you know, the second half, I felt a little better. I guess it's because I didn't eat that quick. I don't know. Overall, I think maybe in the future, if I do go to Vietnam, which hopefully is whenever I graduate college, they would make even more better foods. And hopefully, I don't get a stomach ache because that was a scary moment. Well guys, that is the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about my experience when I was in Vietnam, even though this is being edited like months later. Hope you guys can leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Ai vậy? Ai đó? Vui không? À, vui không? Đứng lên đi, con Như chụp hình nè. Đứng lên con Như chụp hình kìa. Đó, mắc cỡ nữa. Như ngủ không mới dễ. Con mày nó quay đi đâu? Rồi thì đừng có. Nó quay. Rồi ơi. Trời ơi đây.
Đẩy cho nó nhanh chứ. Đi bơi một bên, nó mới đều thì. Đi đâu rồi? Ngồi gì kia khối vậy? Ngồi gì đó.
Đúng rồi.